Well, joining us in the studio now is Li Guofu, Director of Middle East Studies at the China Institute of International Studies. Mr. Li, welcome back to the program. Now, as analysts have been very doubtful that the talks will lead to any concrete breakthrough, now this is even before Israel announced that it would expand construction settlement in the occupied West Bank. How do you view this round of talks?
And according to the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, as he said, and yesterday, and last time when Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu met him and also Palestinian President Abbas, actually Netanyahu told them that he is going to announce some new settlements in the Palestinian occupied territories in order to police those opponents against the prisoners released, because Israeli believe that these prisoners, they have their hands with the Israeli brothers. So this is the sort of conditions. So I personally believe because of that reasons, so the new settlements in the West Bank would not prevent both sides from starting the second round of the talks. Though many people, I share, as a matter of fact, those doubts about the perspective of the peace process. But despite that, I still would hope, and I would wish to give some hope. This time both sides were serious. They may make some breakthrough in the future.
Well, Mr. Li, the U.S. is brokering this round of talks. What role will Washington play in the future? And what about China? Because in recent months, China has been aggressively taking an aggressive role in getting the two parties back to the negotiating table, right?
This is a very, very good question. So we know that the U.S. is play a very decisive role because everyone believes U.S. is the only country can pressurize Israel to make a concession, which it is the conditions for any progress of the peace process. And this time, the American, it seems, is very, very serious about that. We see that the Secretary of State Kerry made 6 traveling to the regions. So I think the Americans, if really play honest, just, and fair role, it will be possible this time. Both sides can achieve something. As for China, we would very, very glad to hear the news. Both sides finally restarted the negotiations. We believe, we hope both sides would be, take the other side's interests also as one of the fundamental interests for they can calculate their own policies. We believe the peace will serve the profound interests of the two nations. I hope both sides will succeed this time.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. Mr. Li, thank you very much for coming on the program.